It was a bright and exciting day in room 204 as Dr. Maxwell stood before the class, ready to lead them into the fascinating world of animal classification. Today, he began with a smile, we're going to explore how scientists classify animals and why this is so important in understanding the world around us. The students were eager. They had already learned about some basic animal traits in their earlier lessons. But today was different. Today, they were going to dive deep into taxonomy, the science of classifying organisms, and discover how animals are grouped based on their shared characteristics. All right, let's start with a question, Dr. Maxwell said as he scanned the room. What do you think happens when scientists find a new species of animal? One of the students, Emma, raised her hand. They give it a name, she said. That's right, Emma, Dr. Maxwell replied. But it's not just any name. They use a special system called binomial nomenclature, which helps avoid confusion. This system uses two names, the genus name and the species name, like Homo sapiens for humans. He paused to let that sink in before continuing. But naming the species is only part of the story. Scientists also need to understand the evolutionary relationships between species. By studying similarities and differences, they can organize animals into groups. These groups are based on characteristics such as body structure, behavior, and reproduction. Dr. Maxwell pulled up a chart on the board, which displayed the hierarchical structure of classification. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. This is the classification hierarchy, he explained. It's how we organize the diversity of life on Earth. He pointed to each level of the hierarchy as he explained it. At the top, we have kingdom, which is the largest category. All animals belong to the animal kingdom. Then we move down the levels to phylum, class, and so on, until we get to the species level, which is the most specific. Dr. Maxwell then showed pictures of various animals on the board. A mammal, a bird, a reptile, an amphibian, and a fish. He asked the class to identify the characteristics of each group. Let's start with mammals, Dr. Maxwell said. What makes an animal a mammal? Liam raised his hand. They have fur or hair, and the females produce milk for their babies, he said. Exactly, Dr. Maxwell replied. Mammals are warm-blooded, have hair or fur, and feed their young with milk from mammary glands. Next, Dr. Maxwell asked, what about birds? Aren't they warm-blooded too, and they have feathers? Said Olivia. Correct? Dr. Maxwell smiled. Birds are warm-blooded too. They have feathers, lay hard-shelled eggs, and most can fly. But not all birds can fly, like penguins. The class continued exploring the other groups. They learned that reptiles, like snakes and lizards, are cold-blooded, have scaly skin, and lay leathery eggs. Amphibians, like frogs and salamanders, live both in water and on land and go through metamorphosis. Fish, on the other hand, are cold-blooded and have gills that allow them to breathe underwater. Dr. Maxwell wrapped up the discussion by drawing attention to insects. Insects are an important group to study, too. They have exoskeletons, segmented bodies, and 6 legs. As the class delved into the traits and characteristics of each group, they began to understand how taxonomy helps scientists communicate about animals and their behaviors, habitats, and roles in the ecosystem. Dr. Maxwell asked them, how can adaptations help us classify animals? Sophie, who had been taking notes furiously, answered, if animals have traits that help them survive in specific environments, those traits help scientists figure out which group they belong to. Dr. Maxwell nodded. Exactly. Adaptations are key to classification. Think of the thick fur on a polar bear that helps it survive in cold environments, or the webbed feet of a frog that make it an excellent swimmer. The lesson ended with Dr. Maxwell assigning a fun activity. For your homework, he said, I'd like you to create a classification chart of 5 animals you've learned about today. Identify their group, their major characteristics, and write a few lines about why those characteristics help them survive in their environments. As the bell rang, The students packed up their things, eager to continue their learning about the world of animals and how scientists classify them. Dr. Maxwell smiled as he watched his students leave, knowing they were starting to appreciate the vast diversity of life and the importance of understanding how everything is connected.